This is the impossible photograph, an image that demanded a ridiculous amount of luck, unwavering perseverance, and a very few specific pieces of gear to actually pull it off. So to kick things off, I have to mention that this is from a real wedding with real people and not some elaborate styled session. The bride is a friend of mine and the groom and the entire wedding party at this point, but in the beginning, I was only friends with the bride. Anyways, so this wedding is interesting because the bride is actually a really amazing wedding photographer herself. So much so that she is actually a Sony artisan. Now, because she obviously loves wedding photography, she decided to hire two wedding photographers, myself and the one and only Benj Haisch. And I mention this because I didn't have a second photographer and Benj didn't have a second photographer. We both tackled the wedding day as if, the other one wasn't there. Aside from family formals, I do take family formals. I think they're very important. But if I can get out of doing them, So the day started off amazing. There was the regular bride prep. Groom prep. And a couple of first looks. But where this wedding gets interesting is that it's taking place in New Zealand, and the ceremony is on the peak of an epic mountain overlooking Lake Wanaka, which means we have to take a helicopter. And everything there goes great. We have the regular entrances, aside from the fact that everyone showed up in a helicopter. We have a ceremony that was performed beautifully by David Manning, who happens to be an amazing human as well as a YouTuber. So if you haven't seen his stuff, definitely check it out. I'll leave a link to that in the description. And once the ceremony was done, it was time for portraits. Now, from here, if you know me at all and the type of work that I like to create, I love me some dramatic portraits. And the best part is that the couple actually hired the helicopter to essentially fly around and sort of be a prop during portrait time. So, analyzing my scene, I instantly knew the photograph I wanted to take. The issue is that in order for my idea to work, I needed the couple to be posed in an area away from the iconic section of the mountain, while also facing a different direction than like the iconic view that this mountain is known for. And we only have the helicopter for a total of 15 minutes. So, running my idea past Benj and the videographer, Emily with Woven Images, who is also amazing. You should check her out. She also recorded a bunch of the video footage that you're seeing as part of this video.
So you're just gonna have to basically do like the first two maybe, and then like book it.
Yeah, the only thing is that whenever I do that, they have to turn. Because I need them facing each other, like basically like the ceremony.
Yeah, I got you.
So I don't know if that's gonna be mess you guys up. We all agreed there probably wasn't enough time to get what they needed at the iconic setup while also getting my idea, which totally fine and a group decision. Definitely doesn't make sense to use most of the time for one photo idea that could or could not work even, and sacrifice basically the location and the view that everyone is there to kind of capture, right? So the idea was pushed to the back of my mind, and we started taking some portraits of the couple while the helicopter was kind of flying back and forth, delivering the guests from the top of the mountain back to the airport. And every time the helicopter takes off from the same direction and arrives from the same direction, except for the very last pickup. This time, on arrival for pickup, the helicopter swoops in past the exact area I would need for my idea to work. So this is my time. I sprint to one of the people that's about to get on the helicopter, and I tell them to ask the pilot to just take off and leave in the same direction that they had just arrived.
Hey, when you land, will you ask him to do that again? When he takes off, will you just ask him to fill
Oh, when he takes off, yeah.
circle?
I can ask. No promises, but I'll try.
I then sprint to tell the couple to get into position, who are thankfully in a close area since we're still waiting for like our prop helicopter, which is crazy that we're, like killing time waiting on a prop helicopter. And while they get into position, I'm running to set up my off-camera flash, all while trying to keep an eye on the helicopter to see if the pilot's going to actually do what I asked him to do. All of this while the couple, Benj and Emily, are watching me try not to slip down a mountain because I wore the worst possible shoes to be playing a mountain goat, but that's a totally different story.
I can see him. He's like, I do it?
Just want it. You want it.
Yeah, I was going to say, dude, you use like the mountain goat as athletic photography.
All right.
And it's at this time the helicopter starts to take off in the same way they had every time before. So I instantly slump my head in defeat and watch my portrait dreams fly off in the wrong direction. But then a miracle. The helicopter starts to turn away from its regularly flown route, so now it's time. But I still have to sprint down a hill, across a ravine, and up to another ridge where I need my camera to be, all while adjusting my camera and flash settings so that I can be ready to take the image as the helicopter flies past.
JK.
No. We're done. Oh, here he comes. He's going.
Oh yeah, there he is. He's going. He's mobbing with those guys too.
Nobody loves them.
Yeah.
And this is a great point in the epic tale to explain why my gear played such a pivotal role into the making of this photograph. Because as I'm running, I'm dialing in my ambient exposure to be dark and dramatic, which can be quite difficult when the early afternoon New Zealand sun is beating down on you. Settings-wise, for the image I wanted, I needed my exposure to be set to ISO 250, f2.8, and 1/80,000th of a second. And there's literally only one camera on planet Earth that can achieve those settings, and that's the Sony A9 III because of its global shutter. Not only is it the only camera that can get to these settings, but it's also the only camera that can get to those settings while syncing with flash. Which brings me to the flash setup. The way global shutter works with flash is there are some intricacies with exactly how much power from the flash can be seen by the sensor. And this changes based on a combination of all the possible variations in camera settings paired with power settings of the flash, which I have an entire video breaking this down. If you want to see it, I'll leave a link to that in the description. But because of this, I've found this sort of like Frankenstein of a setup to be the most ideal combination for maximizing my potential when using flash with the global shutter. A link to the flash setup also in the description. Now, the position of the light is actually behind the couple, pointed toward me and the camera. This gives the couple an amazing backlight, which is also why I need so much power from my light, because I'm only able to see the light that can wrap and bounce around the couple as they're posed. For the power, both lights are set to 1/4 power while also being paired with a full CTO gel. Now, the gels are there to give my light some like nice warmth, and I know it seems weird talking about needing a ton of power for this like backlight setup, but then having the flashes set to 1/4 power. But seriously, watch the other video I linked to in the description and you'll absolutely understand why. From here, the last thing worth talking about is why exactly I need to shoot from this direction. Like, why not just choose to take this photo while the couple is posed in the epic location with the epic view while we also have access to a prop helicopter? And the answer to that question can be found when looking at the direction of the ambient light. You see, when the couple is posed in the epic location, the light ends up coming from in front of the couple and camera left, which means I can never get this nice off-camera flash backlight thing going on because I just couldn't totally overpower direct sun like that while also getting the results that I wanted. So what I need was for the couple to be in an area of the mountain where they are already being backlit by the sun. And even though the sun isn't actually doing much in terms of giving them like that nice warm wrapping light, from this direction, I no longer have to battle like the specular highlights on their skin. And it also helps my off-camera flash be more of a motivated light since it's now coming from the same direction as the ambient light. Another question you might have is why I couldn't just use a regular camera at a regular sync speed paired with a high aperture or an ND filter. And the details can get a little long-winded, but in short, you'd need a much larger and more powerful light in order to acquire a similar exposure. And even then, with a camera set to a traditional like 1/250th of a shutter speed, the speeding helicopter would become a blurry mess. Which might have you now asking, what about high-speed sync? And while this could work, you again need a much larger, heavier, and more powerful light in order to get something similar. And since weight is always a point of reservation when flying in a helicopter, I'm not sure they would have let me go up with something like my Godox 80-1200 Pro, which going by my own experiences would have been around the amount of power I need to maybe pull this off with any other camera. Even then, rushing that thing around a mountaintop would have been a nightmare. That light is literally like carrying a car battery around. And did I mention I was wearing the absolutely worst shoes to be running around a mountain? So anyway, even with the 1200 Pro, I am not confident that that would have been enough power to get a similar result. So here we are, one chance to make it happen, no redos, no second chances. Dramatic music, boom, boom, boom. And I got the impossible image. An image that I wanted but thought wasn't possible, then it became possible, and I thankfully had the perfect combination of gear that can make it a reality. From here, we took a few more boring images on the mountaintop. Got even more bored, so we flew to another spot in the mountain range to change up the scenery a bit, glacier-fed lakes and all that fun stuff. Then it was time to party a bit, so we had the helicopter fly us straight to the reception. Did some first dances. Had some speeches. Did a few nighttime portraits.
He's nothing if not efficient.
Got a little wild on the dance floor. And things, just didn't feel, complete without everyone jumping off a dark bridge into a freezing dark river. So with that, the day was done. And if you want more content like this, then first, more people need to hire me to photograph epic weddings. But you also need to subscribe to this YouTube channel and ring the bell so that you don't miss anything. Then like and comment and all of that other fun stuff while you're there. Lastly, if you like the way that I edit, make sure to check out my preset pack from Develop, which also comes with a full video walking through exactly how I edit, how I use all of the tools. From there, if you would like to see some more premium content from me, make sure to check out my Patreon as well. And with that, see you on the next one.